Good signal. It's there. Hey, hi folks. Good morning, people. Reason for broadcasting this morning is it would appear that people misunderstood yesterday's video. I made it clear in yesterday's video that what I was reporting was how the press were covering the three candidates for the SNP leadership and First Minister. It would appear some of you think I'm promoting Kate Forbes because I'm expressing a view on how the press are going after each of these candidates. I'm not promoting anybody. My observations in the first week of the campaign, since they threw their hats in on Monday, three of them threw their hats in on Monday, is of how the press have been reporting on it. They went after Kate Forbes on religious grounds. A mess she made of for herself. Instead of just saying I'm a Democrat when being asked awkward questions which conflict with her religion, she gave an honest opinion and said she wouldn't have voted for this and she wouldn't have voted for that. I don't agree with that, but that's up to the people who are conducting her campaign. But the press have went hardest after Kate, and I gave an explanation of that as because of their age group and the fact that most of the trouble that the Westminster government or the English have ever had from the Scots has come from the Highlands, and she's a Highlander, and she's in the 16 to 35 age group, which could motivate that age group to actually be politicised and get out and vote. Right, but I'm not promoting Kate Forbes, and I don't agree with her views either on the GRR and on gay marriage. I don't agree with her views, but I'm Generation X. I don't quite get the GRR. I've said this many times, but I don't care if people want to self-identify whatever they want. I've even joked about saying I self-identify as a wardrobe because I ain't clothes myself every day. That's how little understanding I have of gender recognition. When I grew up, there was two genders. I'm Gen X. I'm quite happy to take the pelter you've given me when you're right, but I'm not promoting Kate Forbes. In fact, when you look at the three of them, Humza seems to be the only one that's actually a Democrat. Because we've got two of them saying that they'll ignore the democratic will of the Scottish Parliament when it comes to GRR. And if they're willing to ignore Scottish democracy on the GRR issue, then what else are these two candidates willing to ignore Scottish democracy on? Now, I don't know very much about gender recognition. To say I'm Generation X. When I grew up, there was two genders. Now there seems to be 869 million genders and counting. Wee bit confusing for a man of my age. But what I do know is that both Ash and Kate said that they won't challenge that Section 35 order. And that is incorrect and anti-democratic. The Scottish Parliament voted for that bill. A cross-party vote. 100% of the Labour MSPs that voted in favour. 100% of the Lib Dem MSPs that voted on the bill voted in favour. So, as far as I'm concerned, Ash and Kate saying that they won't stand up for that bill and take Westminster to court over it is a mistake, because Section 35 orders will now be flying about as if they're going out of fashion. It's Humza point to do, and I am not promoting Humza, Ash or Kate. I'm reporting on how the press are reporting on these issues. As Humza said, they set the Sewell Commission to one side, and they've been doing it consistently since. They've issued the Section 35 order, And they will do that consistently, and all they will strike down every bill that goes through that Scottish Parliament that they think impinges on their sovereignty over Scotland or on their single market, which we're about to see in August when they slap a Section 35 on the deposit return scheme. Now, for those of you who seem to think that I was promoting Kate Forbes by telling you that it appears the press fear her most and giving you my explanation of why I think the press fears her most and the British state fears her most, that might change next week, next Friday when I report on it. The press might have decided next week that Holmes is the most dangerous or Ash is the most dangerous. But for the first week, looking at the reports in the press, it would appear the establishment fear Kate the most. That's me reporting on the press, not the candidates themselves. I'm reporting on how the press are portraying the candidates. My personal opinions on these candidates, well, I'll just tell you what I think of Ash, and I'll just tell you what I think of Kate, saying they wouldn't challenge the Section 35 order on the GRR. They don't strike me as Democrats. It doesn't matter what you're viewing these things are, because this is important to leadership going forward. If the Democratic Parliament here in Scotland vote through a bill that was proposed in that Parliament, then we expect the leader of the government, no matter what party it is, to take Westminster to task when they try to interfere in devolved areas. Gender recognition was a devolved area. Right? Simple as that. As I say, next Friday, when I have a look at how the press has reported the race this week, I might see it in a different way. I might see that the press have swung and have decided that Humza is the most dangerous to the British state, or they might have decided that Ash is the most dangerous to the British state. But in week one of the competition, which wasn't actually week one, because let's face it, they threw their hat in the ring last Monday, or 3, but the closing date for candidates wasn't until Friday, so the campaign doesn't start properly on Friday. But reporting on how the press have reported on the 3 people who threw their hat in the ring last week, it would appear that they thought Kate Forbes was the most dangerous. That's all I'm saying. I am not promoting any of these candidates. I said that in my video. I'm not telling you how to vote. And I'm not telling you how to vote for a candidate. I'm not telling you what candidate I'm going to vote for. Your business is a private ballot. So get this clear in your head, folks. I'm not reporting or promoting any candidate. I'm reporting on how the press are reporting on or slating or promoting a candidate. That's all. I give you my view on how the news is being put out. That's why it's called a news review. I interpret or I put my spin on what I think the news is, what I think is bull, and what I think is right. That's what I do in my programme. That's why it's called the review programme. So my review of last week's press reporting on the 3 people who have thrown their hat in the ring for First Minister and leader of the Scottish National Party. My view is last week the press seen Kate as the most dangerous and wanted to take her out early in the race. I've told you why I think they thought she was the most dangerous and why I take her out early in the race. And by the way, the press didn't have to work hard at it. Whoever's advising Kate are advising her badly. But to give her due, whether we agree with her points of view on these things or no, she was honest. As to Ash and Kate no going to stand up against Westminster's Section 35 on the Gender Recognition Reform Bill, they're wrong. If they don't stand up to this one, whether they fundamentally agree with the bill or no, they're supposed to be Democrats. It was democratically put through that Parliament. If they don't stand up to the Section 35 order on the Gender Recognition Reform Bill, will they stand up for our democracy at any other time? Here's a question you can ask yourselves. But I'm not promoting any candidate at all. I'm reporting on how the press have been treating the candidates. That's all. That's all I'm doing. So for those of you who are battering onto my timeline and giving it, Kate's a bigot. Well, Kate is a bigot. Because I'm clearly stated that Murdo Fraser's a bigot and a fud. If Kate is a bigot, religious fundamentalist, whatever you want to call it, that information is now only just coming to the fore in this particular race. The GRR was going through the Parliament while Kate was on maternity leave, and while she was on maternity leave, she kept her gob shut, as far as I know. I've never seen any opinions expressed by Kate personally during the period that that bill was going through the Parliament. She might have expressed it, but I haven't seen it. Now we know she's against the gender reform bill and she's against equal marriage. Not a great look. And it's probably done her in the race, actually. But as I said, the reason why, and that's bad, that whoever's running her campaign badly informed her, badly advised her on this particular issue. The press went after her on it, knowing that she was going to be honest. Quite refreshing to see an honest politician, actually. But Ash and Kate's saying they would drop the fight over this Section 35 order. That's a mistake. That's a massive mistake by both of them. And if they're not going to stand up for democracy over this issue, what issues would they stand up for our democracy on? And will they only stand up for our democracy on things that they agree with? There's another bloody issue to worry about when you think about Ash and Kate. I expect all our politicians of all creed and colour to stand up for our democracy. I'm a Democrat to my toes, and as I've stated already earlier in this video, I'm Gen X. I haven't got a bloody clue about this gender recognition stuff. In Generation X, we had two genders. We also had a lot of hatred against gays and transgender people. That wasn't right either. In the 80s, gay bashing was a sport, apparently. That was wrong. But as I say, as a Generation X, as they call us, man, I have very little understanding of this stuff. That's why I've said repeatedly in my videos, I'm not getting involved. But I'm a Democrat, and whatever's decided by our Parliament, I'll go along with. And the Gender Recognition Reform Bill was decided by our Parliament. I'll go along with it, and I'll defend the Parliament's right to pass that bill. Worries me that Kate Forbes and Ash Regan are no willing to stand up for our democracy over this issue. Because if they're not going to stand up for democracy over this issue, then what other issues won't they stand up for our democracy over? And by the way, before people start interpreting that as meaning I'm promoting Humza Yusuf, I'm not. I'm giving them a point of view on Kate and Ash saying they won't stand up for our democracy. Simple as that. So anybody that thinks I'm promoting any of these candidates, I'm not. I'm reporting on how the press are reporting on the candidates, okay? How you vote, that's your business. It's a secret ballot. How I vote in this leadership contest, that's my business. It's a secret ballot. So for those of you who seem to have misunderstood and think I'm promoting any particular candidate when I'm reporting on this race, you're wrong. I'm giving my point of view on how the mainstream media are reporting the candidates, all right? Davey, I'm not going to tell you who I think should be the next First Minister out of the three candidates. It's a secret ballot. I'm reporting on the mainstream media. Simple as that on this one. Same as I've done in previous elections and said, I'm not telling you how to vote. That's how it is with me. I'll report on the news. My personal views on who I think should be the next First Minister is not there for me to air. That would not be objective. That would be me getting involved in promoting a particular candidate. And I have got no intention during this race to promote a particular candidate. I'll report on their campaigns. I'll report on how the mainstream media view their campaigns. But I'm not going to tell you which candidate I favour. So in the first week, let me reiterate, the first week, Ash, we didn't get much for. She didn't start really until yesterday. Yesterday, she said the alliance with the Greens in the Parliament is not that important to her, and that she won't, once again, she stated she won't stand against the Section 35 order. Humza, they seem to be ignoring Humza actually. They seem to think safe pair of hands. They'll not have much trouble with Humza. And with Kate, tell you, they're frightened of Kate. That showed in the press in the first week. She's 16 to 35-year-old. If she could actually politicise that generation to get out and vote, then Westminster's frightened of that. As for the rest of the baggage that comes with her, the only one thing I will say about that is, for all I disagree with her, she was bloody honest, and that's refreshing in a politician. She didn't hide. She said uncomfortable things to the rest for the rest of us to hear. Does that make her a bigot, a religious fundamentalist? That'll become clearer as we go further forward as well. But based on the scale that I measure Murdo Fraser, then I'd have to say aye. It is. And that worries me about how she would govern. But it's not me we're talking about. We're talking about Westminster and the mainstream media. And from Monday to Friday this week, because there's no Sunday yet, the press seemed to fear Kate the most. I'll report on this again next Friday. And I'll let you know of my point of view and the press's point of view on who, well, I'll let you know of the press's point of view on who's the most dangerous changes. I think we're going to find as we go through that they'll come to fear Humza most. Because he's the one that said you're standing up to him, no matter what. Kate hasn't. Ash hasn't. They've both said they'll walk away from the democratic choices of the Parliament because it doesn't suit them. That doesn't suit me in a leader. I'm a Democrat. Thanks, David, for the donation. Folks, before I sign this one off, remember the super chat, super stickers, and super thank yous. The campaign, the money we raise is going to food banks. I'll be putting a video out on Tuesday. It'll be going to false parcels. So it's an ongoing thing. If you can afford to buy a sticker or leave a comment, then please do. If you can't, don't. But remember, we're trying to help those who are worse off than the rest of us. And thanks very much for your donations. Thanks very much for your time this morning. But I'm not taking any more of this piss with Kate Forbes. I'm not promoting anybody. Get it through your heads. I don't care who you fancy. It's a private ballot. It's a secret ballot. I'm just going to report on how the press is reporting on the race. Okay? Have a nice day.